With newsletters, it's harder for people to follow. And we know with a 1 hour, an hour and a half every quarter, it's easy for people to jump on, listen to what we're talking about, or listen to the recording and see what's going on. So this is kind of based on the advisory council, and the feedback that we're getting is just updating more people. So today we're going to do our update. We're going to do a little bit more of a background for those people who are new to Mentor Colorado, but also because we haven't done these quarterly updates before, it's going to be more explaining some of our initiatives and less about here's what's new in the last 3 months. But we'll include a little bit of that as well. And basically for Mentor Colorado, to keep things simple and in terms of our messaging, we talk a lot about scaling quality. And a lot of our initiatives fit under one or two or both of these buckets. So when we talk about Mentor Colorado today, we're going to talk about them under those two buckets: quality, scale, and at the end, what are some things that people can do to start taking action around the mentoring movement we're trying to create in Colorado. So we're going to start off with the quality piece. First, I just wanted to go through, I'm not going to talk to this, but I wanted to make sure on the recording and in this presentation, people understand what our mission and vision were. Also, I wanted to let people know that we're going through a strategic planning process. And the interesting thing about the process that we're taking is we're aligning more, and if you see our logo in the top left corner, we're aligning more with Mentor, the National Mentoring Partnership. And even when we look at all of the, so I'm just muting everyone. We had a little bit of background noise there. When we look at all of our initiatives and what we're doing, it is aligning with Mentor. And so we're in a way co-branding with them. And some of our conversations about strategic planning is also aligning with Mentor. You saw our advisory council members. These are people who help to advise the programming for Mentor Colorado. We meet on a quarterly basis and once a year in Frisco. That'll actually be coming up in October, our meeting in Frisco. So Shauna, we will be out there to see you and the snow. Not that it'll be snowing, but in case it is. So these are advisory council members. These are people who represent mentoring agencies throughout the state. They help to ensure that anything we're creating isn't being developed in a vacuum. Our affiliate organizations, we have 65 plus affiliate organizations. Our requirements for those people who are new are, one, that they're active. We don't want people just to sign up and then never see them again. Two is that they fill out our annual survey, and I'll be talking about one of our surveys that we sent out this year that we'll still need some people to complete. And three is that you're sharing the information around Mentor Colorado, but that you're open to collaborating with other people and sharing information within our network. So these are our affiliate organizations. In the bottom right corner, there are 3 agencies that are supporting, also supporting affiliate organizations and a part of our network of affiliates. Our board members slowly our board is growing. I just wanted to make sure you had information on our board. These are our board members, and we're going to be going up to 15, maybe 17, probably by the end of 2017. We've switched over from a monthly meeting to a quarterly meeting, which has made all the difference in the world, and has been less hands-on for our board, but more strategic, and thus the development of our strategic plan and creating a alignment through all of our activities. One thing I wanted to mention about Mentor, if you're not familiar with Mentor, the National Mentoring Partnership, please go to their website. There are, I believe, 26 mentoring partnerships around the US. They're all the red areas on the slide. I did want to let people know that there is a fellowship program. So if you're interested in going to the National Mentoring Summit on January 24th to 26th, they provide full funding for members to go. The application is due September 3rd. So, while you're watching this on your Friday night, you can also be filling out your Summit Fellows application. It's a fairly easy application and a great way to be able to go. For those people who haven't had the chance to go, it is an extremely valuable opportunity. And I'm just going to try and, there we go. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about quality. At the end, we hopefully we'll have time, and I'm assuming we will have time for people to ask questions, because I was worried that we would dive into a topic and talk about it for 20, 30 minutes. I wanted to make sure we got through everything, at least for this first update. So we're actually going to talk through everything. And then if you have questions, feel free to post them in the chat box, or feel free to wait till the end, and we will have an opportunity for people to ask and talk a little bit about some of the things that we're doing. But we just wanted to make sure we had time to go through everything. So we're going to get started with Audrey. And Audrey, I've unmuted you there, so you should be able to go ahead and talk. Audrey's going to talk a little bit about our Total Screen workshop, what we were doing in May, and we're also looking to do another one this fall, Total Screen workshop.
All right. So as many of you know, I am very, very passionate about screening and ensuring that we are creating these, very healthy environments for our young people to thrive. And I've said this a million times, but I believe that if we're not creating safe spaces, then we really don't have any business what we're doing. And so it's been really amazing to work with all of the agencies here in Colorado and to see how dedicated people are to ensuring that we are bringing in great mentors and volunteers and staff into our programs that will be able to form healthy relationships with young people. So 2 summits ago here in Colorado, we brought Becky Cooper from Friends for Youth in California to come out and do a SAFE training. And for those of you that aren't familiar, SAFE is specific methodology that's been developed by Friends for Youth and a book that's been written by them about predatory behaviors and predators. And so that specific training was really focused on physical safety and sexual safety of our young people and helping to ensure that we are keeping predators out. And it was an excellent training, but what we learned from that and from our subsequent conversations with various staff members across the state was that while that is absolutely something that we need to be screening for, people are having a lot of challenges with commitment, with the emotional safety factors related to our young people. And we've seen research more recently from Renee Spencer and Dr. Jean Rhodes and Dr. Jean Grossman that looked more focused on closure in a more meaningful way to demonstrate the impact of premature closure on young people. And we saw that this had significantly negative impact on young people. So all of these things kind of converged, and we recognized that what we needed to do was to develop a more holistic screening training to help people to not only screen for predatory behaviors, but also help to screen for commitment issues and emotional safety issues and people that just aren't going to be the best fit and the best mentor for your program or your young people. So we developed Total Screen, which really helps to look at this comprehensive approach. And so this is we did a whole day screening training the day before the summit this year. However, I have since also developed various lengths of training. We have a 2-hour training, a 4-hour training, a full day training, 2-day trainings. So really anything and everything that you would need to help to tackle this issue. So we focus really on commitment, emotional safety, and physical safety, and looking at all of those things, as well as relational skills and fit and understanding how to get the best fit mentor. So we looked at research and brought that in. We looked at best practices and practitioner knowledge and pulled all of that in. And we rely a lot on the expertise of people in the room to really comprehensively bring together all of the alerts that we're looking for and the types of questions we can ask to really start to examine if people are the right fit for our program. So this training itself not only goes through all of those alerts for commitment, relational skills, emotional safety, and physical safety, but also helps us to start delving into the actual screening tools that we can utilize and how to use them so that we can get the information that we need. But then we also are going to look at what to do with that information once we get it and how to follow up. So this is a new approach to the screening training. Obviously, many of you are already doing a lot of these elements, but we wanted to really bring it together into this overall training that we can start to implement across the state so that people can bring all of their knowledge and we can start to really get this whole screening look in Colorado, and we can start to ensure that we're creating communities of screened people, and that as a whole, we're just blocking out people who would not be a good fit for our youth. So the hope is that we'll be doing this again, Brad, is that correct, in the fall?
Yeah, we will. We're just working on the timing and locking down a venue.
Okay, wonderful. So yeah, so the hope is that we'll be able to roll this out for those that don't attend. For everybody that did attend in May, I think that they found it to be very valuable and were able to learn a good bit from the process and from each other. Again, I think one of the best and greatest values of this training is that it brings people together who are doing this process, who often are very isolated in their organizations. And so a lot of times screeners are the sole person who is doing mentor screening and recruitment. And so we don't always have other peers and people to share information with, to ask questions, to bounce ideas off of. And so that's another kind of added benefit of the training, is that it facilitates conversations and peer relationships that otherwise people might not have access to.
Great. Thanks, Audrey. And if you haven't met Audrey already, she's been in Colorado how many years now, Audrey?
Over 3, just over 3.
And congratulations, she's got a little one at home now.
A little puppy.
A little puppy at home now. And you know, to me, it's inspiring to see someone so passionate about screening, and even to have advisory council members like Ken, like Sarah, like Trudy, like Audrey Reyes, who's so excited about this topic. They really wanted to make sure we were bringing it here. And I feel like now the participants who've attended this workshop, either this year or last year, are also really excited. And it's almost like this cult-like following. So we're excited by the enthusiasm that people have shown around this training, and we know that people keep asking for it, and people say we need more and more and more. So we want to make sure, you know, at least this year we're doing it twice this year. We'll see based on interest if there's even more opportunities next year to do it. But thrilled that, you know, Audrey has been able to pull this together and create something, you know, comprehensive and holistic, which I think are two important points to it. Thanks, Audrey.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
All right. Okay, great. The other workshop, and you know, I wasn't able to get Drew or Sally on for this call, but Drew and Sally, for our last workshop series that happened right before the summit, the pre-conference event, created a understanding the elements of effective practice for mentoring. This is the 4th edition. And what we were finding in Colorado and most other states, when you saw that map with the red on it, most other states had a training that they were providing, and there's a national training. So we had Sally, who was the director of training with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and Drew, who was the executive director for Colorado Youth at Risk, is now a consultant working with Mentor Colorado. We pulled them together to create something even more comprehensive, but also engaging. We didn't want you to have to sit there and listen to lecture for an entire day, but we really wanted to make sure we were giving people an introduction to the elements of effective practice for mentoring. So this workshop, which will also be happening sometime this fall, is great for introducing people to the elements. It's great for new staff. It's great for people who want to brush up on the 4th edition. But we're also looking to come out with more advanced sessions for the elements of effective practice, for the people who have been around for a while in the mentoring world and want to push their knowledge in terms of each of the areas related to the elements. So we'll be hearing more about that information. And I think Colorado was rated as one of the top states in terms of understanding of the elements of effective practice for mentoring in the national survey. So we're thrilled that, you know, people, when they see the 4th edition, they recognize the cover, they know what it means, and a lot of them know, you know, pieces of the elements or have tried to integrate it into their programs. So I think that's great for Colorado, and great that we're continuing this effort and more people are wanting to participate in this type of workshop. All right, I'm going to hand it over now to Ken, who's on our advisory council, but also a TA provider for Mentor Colorado. Ken, I just got to find you on the audio. There we go. So Ken, you're now audio active. If Ken's going to talk to us a little bit about the technical assistance.
Hi, everyone. Hope you're having a good day. I don't know if you guys have all heard about the Technical Assistance Project. We've actually had some great adoption. About 60% of the affiliates have taken advantage of it. And really what the Technical Assistance Project is, it's an OJJDP funded project through the National Mentoring Resource Center, and it allows Mentor Colorado the funds to be able to provide programs individual consulting, which is incredibly impactful. My work with different programs and talking to different consultants about it, it's one thing to be able to go and send your staff to a training, but it's a whole nother experience to have a consultant walk alongside you, really provide you training and specifically what it is that your program's looking for, and help you solve problems, create solutions, or really advance your program by having some extra staff time and support to be able to do that for a project. These projects run between 25 and 50 hours. Currently, all of the projects are, assigned for the year. The funding has run out, but we'll know in October if we got refunded for the next year. With everything with the federal government right now, we're kind of watching for funding, and that'll give you the opportunity to go for one of these projects. To give you a little bit of an idea, in 2014, we did about 4 projects. In 2015, we did 10. And we jumped to 65 projects that Mentor Colorado did in 2016, which is huge. And this year so far, we've done 45. Just to give you guys an idea of the number of different programs. Like I said, 60% in Colorado of our affiliates have utilized this. So what are the projects cover? You can get consulting, technical assistance training in many of these different areas. Here on the slide, you see a lot of them go to program design, about 40%, also a lot for recruitment and different projects. We based the projects off of the 6 elements of the effective practice that many of you are probably familiar with. What that is, the standards are recruitment, screening, training, matching and initiation, mentoring and support, and closure. So these are all those different areas. Now,
I'm sorry, Ken, we're losing you
would you
a bit
mind
there.
throwing up in the chat function what you got support on? Oh, can you hear me now?
I think it's better.
Am I good now? Okay, sorry about that. If you can, throw up in the chat function, those of you who have had consulting before from Mentor Colorado, and just say what type of project it was that you got supported on. If you can give, a little bit of a detail, if it was help with, mentor recruitment or youth recruitment, if it was screening based or something around matching, just to give people an idea, because I think sometimes you might be wondering, what is it that I could really use support for? And I think hearing a little bit from other programs about what they have gotten could be helpful. So Katrina got outcome evaluation, school-based mentoring program design and partnership development. Thank you, Michelle. So Susan got mentor support and program development. Really, these projects are catered to your program. The resources that the consultants build out are going to be, created, with your logos, your design, and more importantly, that have an understanding of your specific program culture. So, I will turn it back over to Brad, but I'd really encourage you to consider how this could be a support to your program, and definitely take advantage of this free resource, free technical assistance for 25 to 50 hours. And I know Brad will announce in October if it was refunded for the next year and how to apply.
Yeah, great, Ken. And for us, the funds got spent down this year. And so we've been really trying to encourage people to apply sooner rather than later. So we will send out, as soon as we find out that the funds have been approved, we will let you know so that you can apply. And we really do try and find a good fit, identify what is it you're looking for, what do you want to improve, and find the TA provider that aligns with that area of expertise that you're trying to address. Out of everything I think Mentor Colorado does and that we'll talk about today, I always say that this is the most impactful. I think, workshops, you get lots of great information, but actually having somebody sit down with you and walk through things that are going on with your organization and addressing a specific issue. When I talk to organizations, we've always had really amazing feedback on how impactful it's been and transformative it is for their organization. So I'll let everybody know, but keep those applications coming once we get that approval on that grant. The Colorado Mentoring Summit, and I'm not sure if Trudy, if you want to talk a little bit about this. I don't know if you're on audio at all. I see your name's on there, and I've tried to click your audio on, but I'll talk. And Trudy, if you can get your audio on, I'm happy to have you join in the conversation around the summit, because Trudy's been involved with the summit for 6 years. I feel like Trudy and the summit are one and the same, and that a big part. And so have so many other people in Colorado in creating this. When you look at this last year, we had 26 committee members. We did 5 TED Talks, Tim Talks. We did 20 innovation presentations. We did 20 workshop sessions. We had an exhibition area. We had a leadership luncheon with 130 different individuals, a lot of them being corporate leaders. We had a networking event the day before, and we had 21 sponsors. I think it's nice to see that our sponsors are growing as well as other things. One thing that, the feedback was great. I think everybody always says the sessions are amazing. And, our committees have done an amazing job of bringing people together for some really impactful sessions on topics that are relevant, but also some topics that are core in our sector. And we're starting to see people trickle in from other states coming to the Colorado Mentoring Summit. I think what we started to notice too is we've done this now for 6 years, and the attendance actually has gone down in the last year. I think we dropped about 50 people, and when you're only having 250, maybe 300 people, 50 people is a good portion of that. And so we're actually looking in 2018 to change up the Colorado Mentoring Summit. We are working this fall on creating a totally different format that is looking more at going deep on 4 or 5 different topics, as opposed to getting a mix of a variety of different topics. One of the biggest complaints we always get, which I think this is a great complaint, but they said there were so many sessions I wanted to go to that I wasn't able to. When you look at the list, people are like, I want that one and that one and that one, and then they're only able to go to 2, 3 workshops out of the 20. It's hard because people leave disappointed. So we're looking at a totally different format for this year, just to change things up. And we'll have definitely in December our update. We'll make sure everyone's aware of the change in format. We'll have the save the date out and make sure that people are aware of how we're going to adjust it and spice it up, change it up for 2018. In terms of so the next thing I'd love to talk about is the quality mentoring system and what we're finding out from the quality mentoring system. This is a system, it was created on a national level. It was first developed in Massachusetts and Minnesota. They created their own system separately, and now Mentor has merged together kind of the best of both worlds, really trying to figure out what is the best standardized process. 22 other states are already implementing a quality mentoring system. Mentor Colorado is part of this first pilot of this standardized approach to a quality mentor system, so that it has a national approach to quality. And what this system really does is look at the alignment of your program practices with evidence and best practices in mentoring, mainly using the elements of effective practice for mentoring. And this is a 92 questions that organizations go through, and some of them require documentation to support the question, and some of them there's a rating scale associated with it on a scale of 1 to 5. And they go through, they register, they do the online assessment, so they go through the process of filling this out. I think 3-4 hours is on average how long it takes to go through this assessment. And then they'll have one of our QMS specialists come in and work with them to review everything that's in there that they've assessed on. And the surprisingly thing is, and Drew DeMarie, who's done some of our workshops, has been our reviewer for the quality mentoring system. And he said, I believe that every single organization scored themselves lower than they actually were. And we're finding it both ways. Some organizations believe that they're doing things and they say, oh, wait, I thought I was doing this. And when they sit down with their reviewer, they realize, no, I'm actually not doing that. And then the opposite is true as well, where they think we're not really doing that. And it's really hard to know when you're involved in your own organization if you are aligning with standards. And does this look like other organizations, or does this look like quality? So we have a process where they do the registration, the online assessment, they go through that review verification, and then they create a work plan, an innovations and improvement plan, identifying where do they want to grow. And for us, the quality mentoring system is really about continuous learning, making sure that organizations are able to strive towards evidence-informed practices, and that they're able to always improve each year, but in a strategic and meaningful way. So on this slide, you'll see the organizations that have completed or almost completed our pilot. And in November, we're going to be providing designations, badging. In the top right corner, you'll see a version of the badge, and National's still debating badges and tweaking their badging. So this might not be the final version, but they'll receive a badge for participation in the quality mentoring system. And Colorado is also introducing 2 other badges. One for a high level of alignment with the elements of effective practice with the quality measures. And the other one is related to 100% alignment with the quality measures. And so we want to recognize organizations that have gone through the process, but also organizations who have achieved a high level of alignment. And we'll be launching those badges in October so that everyone can see what does it mean, what are those badges, how are we defining quality in those badges. And then we'll be presenting them in November to the 6 organizations, depending on where they fit within the spectrum. And really, I wanted to put the benefits down there so people realize the advantages of working with this system. Being recognized for quality program, we're prioritizing participation in mentor calling events for those organizations that are part of the system. We also want to create more advantages for them as they go through the process. And so we're hoping that as more and more organizations go through this, that it'll be more advantageous for people to participate. And what we're hearing from the organizations now is they're saying, that just alone the process going through this has been really insightful for their organizations. So if your organization, right now we're considering organizations for 2018. If your organization wants to learn more about this, or wants to be considered for this, or just wants to have a conversation about what this would look like, what are the time requirements, please let me know. Feel free to shoot me an email. We're trying to get a diverse range of organizations that are involved. So I can't say, this is the type of organization that will be approved to participate in the quality mentoring system in 2018. We really want a variety of different programs, a variety of different sizes of organizations to engage in this process. So we're going to talk a little bit about SCALE. I mentioned this at the beginning of so these are initiatives under SCALE. Again, there's a huge overlap between quality and SCALE. What we have coming up this week, on September 6th, we are launching our Mentoring Flipped campaign. And if anyone was at the summit or the leadership luncheon, they will have seen the video for Mayor Hancock and Chris Harris Jr., Denver's Mayor Hancock, as well as and we also have a video with Denver Mayor Hancock and Malik Beasley with the Nuggets. And these videos we've condensed down to 30-second spots because we've found some funding to have a digital distribution campaign, and 9 News is supporting us with that, partially because of their great relationship with the Broncos, and also because they have a really good online presence. And we're also doing TV spots with Comcast. So the NFL Network, ESPN, a variety of different networks, we have 30-second spot commercials playing on TV. We're also doing the social media piece. So again, if you're not already following us, please follow us on social media. We are on Facebook and Twitter, and we will have lots of activity over the next 3 weeks regarding those mediums. And some of the organizations on the line right now are going to be recognized on social media, also being recognized on our website. So we're going to have a lot of online activity for during the campaign, and that's going to continue to evolve even after October. If you're not on the Mentoring Connector, our biggest ask with this campaign is to go in, search your zip code, and find a mentoring program. We saw this in Massachusetts. They had a 4 times increase in search activities on the Mentoring Connector as a result of their Flipped video. We saw this with President Obama and Steph Curry's video that they released. The Mentoring Connector blew up like it never has before from these Flipped videos, and that's why we've really invested in this, because we knew it was going to attract people to inquire with more mentoring programs. And this is really to recruit more mentors and raise more awareness for mentoring throughout the state. So first step here, what we really need is your contributions in terms of registering with the Mentor Connector, follow Mentor Colorado on social media, repost and retweet and contribute to the social media campaign. Chris Harris Jr. is going to be launching off the campaign on September 6th. So if you want to follow him as well, you'll see his initial posts related to the campaign. And then engage your networks with our email campaign. So once the video is out and been posted, we're going to start an email campaign where we're going to be asking you to tap into 5 to 7 people that you know that would be interested in sharing this campaign with other people, either through email or on social media. And what we would love for you to do, we're starting September 6th. So starting after September 6th, if you can let your recruiters know, people who are receiving calls or emails from potential mentors, if you could ask them, how did you hear about us? And we're expecting that most agencies or all agencies will be asking that for anyone calling to volunteer, but we're hoping that you will. If you can keep a record of how many people are calling your organization as a result of the Mentoring Flipped campaign, it would be really valuable for us to understand, does this type of campaign have an impact? We will be able to track it through the Mentoring Connector, but if we could also understand how many people are actually just reaching out to their mentoring program because they saw the commercial, they already knew of Gunnison Valley Mentors, and they decided to give them a call because they were inspired by what they saw. Or they looked you up on the Mentoring Connector, but they never reached out to you on the Mentoring Connector. They actually just looked up your phone number or email address and emailed you to let you know that they're interested in learning more about your program. So we're hoping that each mentoring agency will also ask, how did you hear about us? Did you see the Mentoring Flipped video? So that we can understand, does this type of campaign have an impact? Because if it does, we want to do more of it. And if it doesn't, then we want to change up our approach and make sure we're doing something that does have a meaningful impact. I want to go, and I will, I'm seeing we have some questions on the chat box. All right, so I just want to go back to the quality mentoring system. Helena asked, when can other organizations participate since you handpicked the group now? Shouldn't it be an open process? So what we did for our first group is we invited our advisory council to participate because we knew the first year was going to be a little clunky and we really wanted to learn. And so we asked our advisory council members to provide input while they go through the process. It will be an open process. So organizations can inquire with me. It's basically, we'll sit down and talk about the Mentoring Connector, talk about the fit and the requirements associated with it. And based on that, we'll kind of decide together if this is a good fit for your organization to participate in 2018. So this is an open process, but we knew for our pilot, we wanted to make sure we were involving our advisory council so that we were able to get the input that we needed on modifying the campaign to work for everyone. The other program that we're going to be talking about is the Colorado Mentor Corps, and we're thrilled to announce that we have a program manager, Caitlin Mons, who is going to be talking with you today and sharing a little bit of information about herself and the program for us. So Caitlin, let me open up your audio for you. Okay, Caitlin, are you on?
Yes.
Great.
I think so. Okay, great. Hi, everyone. As Brad said, I am new to Mentor Colorado. I'm also new to the state of Colorado. I moved here just about 2 months ago and have been with Mentor Colorado for just a few weeks, although I hit the ground running, so it feels like much longer. I've got some extensive experience working with nonprofits in youth development. I'm also an AmeriCorps alum myself, so I'm very excited to be the program manager and help our next round of AmeriCorps members. So just a quick overview of AmeriCorps for anyone who's not familiar. AmeriCorps is a branch of the Corporation for National and Community Service. They have a couple of different branches. Our members are what is referred to as national and state members, and when they come on, they do 10 months of service in exchange for a monthly stipend, and at the end of their service, they're eligible to receive an education award. So for our AmeriCorps program, we're going to take 11 mentors and place them at agencies across the state. And you can see on the slide there, those are the host site organizations that we're partnering with in this first iteration. Of those 11 members, each of them will be working with 10 target students. They'll be anywhere between an hour to 3 hours each week with each student, mentoring them with academic, social, emotional support. And then our mentors are also going to be planning and implementing some in-school and after-school programming that's going to support the development of a broader group of students. So those programs are going to be open to students outside their 10 target. And so Monday through Thursday, we'll have them in the schools providing those services. And then Friday, we're going to be offering them some professional development. And we're actually in the midst of recruitment right now. So if anyone knows someone that this might be a great fit for in your networks, please feel free to recommend them. And that's really just a quick, brief overview of what this program is. But if anyone has any questions, feel free to type them in, or you can always contact us after if you have any questions.
Great, thanks, Caitlin. And you know, we've always looked at this as a growing program, and right now the price tag on members is about $12,000 for a mentoring agency to participate and receive a member that will work in their schools. But you know, I was just doing the math the other day. If we go up to 20 members, it's about $10,000. If we go up to 50 members, it's about $9,000. So we know if we can scale this program in a quality way, it will be more cost effective for mentoring agencies to participate. So if you are interested, we are in a 1-year grant right now with Serve Colorado, but we will be applying in the spring for a 3-year grant. And if people are interested, start talking to me in the fall. I'll make sure I'm start reaching out to people to see who's interested. But if you are interested in receiving an AmeriCorps member, in September of 2018, we would love to have that conversation with you and make sure it's a good fit, and explore what this program could look like and how this could be a resource for more organizations like the 6 that we have listed here. Thanks, Caitlin.
Thanks. And to Trudy's question, we can definitely send out some information, including that application, for anyone you may know that's interested in joining us.
Great, good. And what I'll do is everyone on this email, I will, once the recording's set, I'll send the recording, I'll send this PowerPoint, and we'll also include that in that. So if you could share that with your network, that would be ideal, because we could really use the support with recruitment. Being our first year in the grant, we are a little behind because we didn't get it approved until the beginning of August, and so we're now scrambling to get people on board. But once we get up and running, things will start running smoothly. Great, thank you, Caitlin.
Thanks.
All right. So advocacy is our next area that I wanted to touch base on. We are doing advocacy on the federal, and hopefully we'll be doing more on the state level. I think with a lot of the change in administration this year and the change in the policies as well as the budget, our focus has been more on supporting our federal agenda and supporting Mentor, the National Mentoring Partnership. And Mentor has been very active in their advocacy efforts. If you're not already signed up on their advocacy alerts, I would recommend going to mentoring.org, to their website, signing up for their advocacy alerts, as well as for a lot of their other newsletters. There's also webinars that happen each month. So if you're not familiar with that resource, it's definitely something to become familiar with. But we are trying to advocate for OJJDP funding. There's currently an 11% cut. It went down from 90 million to 80 million in fiscal year 18. And if you've noticed, OJJDP hasn't been releasing the grants that they normally would release as a result of this expected cut. So we're trying to get that back up to 90 million and even push it further to increase the amount of funding under the OJGDP mentoring funding for mentoring agencies in Colorado as well as beyond. And we know that there are a lot of mentoring agencies that are receiving support from OJGDP in Colorado. The other area that we're advocating for is with CNCS. The funds have been cut by 85%. They went from about $1 billion, just over $1 billion, to 135 million. So really looking at phasing out CNCS. There is a lot of support, and every time we talk to our lobbyists on a national level, working with mentors, she is always saying Congress supports CNCS because we want to see programs like AmeriCorps, like Senior Corps, like AmeriCorps Vista continue to exist, and a lot of them have mentoring integrated into their programs. So it's important for us to maintain that funding, and even for Colorado Mentor Corps. To provide you with AmeriCorps members and that support, we know that this funding is essential. So on a federal level, we're working on that, but we also have a variety of mentoring bills and funding that we talk about with federal legislators. I'm always impressed how many senators, both of our senators as well as our members of Congress meet with us each year. Usually, we'll at least meet with one senator. We'll meet with the staff of a senator. We'll meet with a lot of the congressmen, the congresswoman, and have conversations and sit down about talking about what's happening in our community, but also talking about the bills. If you are interested in attending, and you'll see the logo in the top right corner, and you're also interested in attending the National Summit, which the National Summit is actually on the 25th and 26th in DC. And we do Capitol Hill Day on the 24th. It's a great opportunity. The more people we can get out, the stronger our message is. Please consider coming to Capitol Hill Day. It's a really great day. It's fascinating to see how everything, and we've been fortunate to have organizations like Friends First or Boys and Girls Club in Fremont County or Gunnison Valley Mentors come out for those days and participate. So it's a really good day and a great point for advocating and for us to continue to build our relationships with federal legislators. And then on the state level, we were really looking at this year. I know we talked about the Mentoring Act a couple of years ago and really tried to push to have additional funding there when the marijuana tax and Proposition BB. But this year we're looking at how do we increase funds in TGYS and or the Mentoring Act. So we're now having conversations with a variety of organizations that have connections with state legislators to look at how do we get more funds available. So for those organizations potentially that weren't funded under TGYS, could they, if we get extra funds in the next year, could they potentially be funded next year? Or even looking at additional grant cycles and how do we continue to grow those pots of funds? And Mentoring Month. Mentoring Month, this year we're fortunate because we are running the Colorado Mentor Corps AmeriCorps program. We are going to be using our AmeriCorps members to create a really amazing day for Martin Luther King Day, Day of Service. And we're hoping that they're going to be able to create a day that all mentoring agencies will participate in. But what I wanted to do is share with you some of the national days that have already been set aside in 2017. And we're going to be updating this with, I think they haven't come out with their 2018 calendar yet. So once that calendar comes out, we'll be informing people. There's also a toolkit to go with Mentoring Month. And slowly, Mentor Colorado is trying to create more of a presence and awareness on Mentoring Month. So in our December meeting, we'll provide more information on what Mentoring Month will look like in January, but we'll start to inform people in October and November so you can align some of your plans and activities with what's happening on a statewide level and what is also happening on a national level. And the last point I wanted to make is really taking action. We have 3 things that we would love for you to take action on. The Mentoring Flipped, obviously, this campaign coming up. Participate, follow, and engage on social media. It'd be great to have your support so that when we do these campaigns, more people are aware. Email your mentors, email your board, email your community, and ask them to spread the message around mentoring. We also have a capacity building survey that was sent out at the beginning of August. If for some reason your organization did not get a chance to complete this, we are allowing organizations to complete this by September 8th. So please today, tomorrow, probably not tomorrow, but or next week, complete the capacity building survey. When we create workshops, when we create the summit, when we do a variety of different initiatives, we really try and make sure things are appropriate for mentoring agencies. And it's hard for us just from our advisory council sometimes to know what's going to be best for all of you. And so we encourage you to fill that out. It's, I think, 10 minutes at the most to complete. Let us know what you're doing in terms of capacity building and what you're looking for. And that helps to inform our plans, especially for 2018, on what we should be creating for you and what type of workshops or capacity building opportunities you're looking for. And then also, if you are interested in the QMS, please reach out to me. Just shoot me a quick email, say I'm interested, and we'll set up a meeting to talk and explore the opportunity with you. What I will do now, since we have plenty of time, is I'm going to unmute everyone. And if you'd like to either, if you'd like to type a question, you can do that. And if you'd like to talk, you could do that as well. And I see a question from Trudy that says, does the agency choose the 10 youth that the mentor works with? Yes, they work with school counselors. They work with the school to identify target students for the member to work with. And then the member meets with a variety of different students and finds the best alignment and identifies those as their target students, and they work with them throughout the year. Okay, so I will unmute everybody. Okay, so everybody's unmuted. If you have a question, feel free to put it in the chat box, or feel free to jump in and ask.
Brad, I was wondering if you could give us an update on the rural mentoring fundraising.
Yeah, we had a conversation. So a lot of times with Mentor Colorado, and I think this is a great example of something organic that comes up. We had a couple of our agencies in rural Colorado say, we're interested in bringing people together to talk about fundraising. And on Tuesday, we had a conversation with, I believe, 10, 15 individuals working in rural Colorado that wanted to know more about how do we increase our funds? How do we retain our funds for mentoring? And so as a result of that conversation, we had 4 or 5 different suggestions on what we could do. And I'm basically waiting, for those people who are on the call, waiting to hear back to find out, how do people want to move forward? Do we want to have quarterly meetings about sharing best practices and creating collaborative campaigns? Do we want to just create a campaign for mentoring in rural Colorado where the organizations all come together? Do we want to advocate for a local tax? So we've put a number of different options on the table. And Michelle, if you haven't seen those ones, I'll make sure that I forward that email to you so that more people can see what we're trying to pull together, if anything. And if people are interested in meeting to discuss it, we're interested in facilitating that process.
You did send it to me. Thank you.
Oh,
I just
okay,
thought it was a great place to update. I wasn't able to be on the call, but I do think it's a great example of where Mentor Colorado helps and is a platform for people to get together on their, whatever their pressing issue is.
Yeah, and I think too, I think as a result of that, there's a couple of agencies that want to consider creating collaborative grants together. So if you're looking at, other organizations that you want to work with, we're happy to make those introductions. There are a lot of possibilities. Thanks, Michelle.
And then I have one more question about the quality mentoring system. Knowing that it's pilot and that you can only do so many a year, I know, for example, you weren't going to do more than one partners, right? And I would think that would be true of other organizations that have multiple mentoring affiliates but use the same model. Is there going to be a way for us to say the partners mentoring model received a quality, or is it very specific to the agency to make sure that agency, see what I'm saying? Because we would be interested in going through it if that's the only way we're going to get, and not if that's the only way. I mean, we would be interested in doing it, but I'm thinking we're at a disadvantage because you already did the partners in Gunnison. And so you might not be interested in doing another partners one.
Yeah.
So it helps, I'm seeing if, can it help us being a part of that, or is it hurting us to be a part of that because only one of us got done?
Yeah, so what we're
And
considering... Sorry, go
this
ahead.
is Mary Ann.
Hi, Marianne.
Hi.
So
We can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, Marianne, did you have something you wanted to add?
I just wanted to agree with Michelle. That I was going to email you later and ask you that question.
Yeah, so we're still trying to solidify that process because there is a system in place to ensure consistency between the partners agencies as well as Big Brothers Big Sisters. And if there's other organizations that have the same program being facilitated in multiple locations and would like to be considered for this, please let me know, because it doesn't make sense. So what I think our process will be more around is reviewing the process that you take to ensure consistency between locations and providing a much lighter version of the quality mentoring system for each of those agencies that are implementing that program. So we are in conversations with our programming, our standards council committee, as well as our board of directors on how should that look. We haven't solidified it yet, and we will be making sure that we engage Big Brothers Big Sisters and partners thoughts in some of that, because we want to make sure if you are implementing programs with fidelity in multiple locations that you don't have to have 6 organizations all doing the same lengthy work. So Tina's done a lot of legwork for you, and we want to recognize that since you have those systems in place, that we can create an efficiency there.
Great.
Thank you.
Good. All right, I'm just looking in the chat box. All right. So if there's no other questions, yeah, it's great that we've zipped through everything and we were able to provide everybody with an update. We do have our next update scheduled for December 1st, and but please, we find that organizations and people get the most out of the partnership when they're actively participating. So if there are things that you're looking for Mentor Colorado to address, either with the capacity building, please complete the survey. But if there's any other way that we can be supporting you, or our network can be supporting you, please let us know. We are here for mentoring agencies. You've created us, and we want to be as supportive as we can, and we look forward to continuing this. I think this, to me, is an inspiring endeavor of people coming together and making change collectively. So let us know how we can help.
One last question, Brad. Will this presentation be available? I know there's some stuff on the Flipped campaign I'd like to share with our marketing person.
Yep, so I'm recording it now. I'll send the recording to everybody who's been on this meeting invite. So that will be at least one person from each agency. If you can share it with people in your organization, we'll also post it on our website. You'll also have the PowerPoint, so you can pull from any slide if you're updating people at your organization or in your staff meeting and you want to pull some slides from this. Feel free to do that as well. And we're going to be sending out the member description, so that if people know anyone, please share that with your network so that we can get the word out about our AmeriCorps opportunities and recruit more members for this.
Thank you.
Great. Well, thanks everybody for jumping on the call. Enjoy your September, and go Kyle Sloter. Take care.